to reduce crime and its impact on people and communities. NIACRO.
We are dealing with about 6,000 individuals going through the prison system in a year. So that number of individuals who are coming out without quality accommodation or without the necessary benefit or education arrangements in place, over time add to a significant number of people who are not connected properly to the services that they should be.
I'm pleased as Minister of Justice to acknowledge the work that NIACRO does as one of the partner organisations for the Department of Justice in helping reduce reoffending and in helping to resettle offenders, and also in the work the volunteers do in helping to care for the families of those who are in prison at the time. I think it's absolutely vital that we develop that partnership approach, and NIACRO as a voluntary group has been able to engage in a number of different new initiatives which have certainly helped meet the needs of our client group and have made Northern Ireland a better place.
But it is not for NIACRO to make decisions about who's right or wrong. It's for NIACRO to provide a service for people who are in need.
A prison sentence should not mean a punishment for life.
NIACRO works to support prisoners
and ex-offenders
back into the community.
Working with offenders and ex-prisoners, NIACRO serves a vital role in assisting offenders and ex-prisoners during their sentence and also helps them back into society. They have several projects to cover all aspects of resettlement and to minimise reoffending.
We help with the journey through the prison system from remand to release. We help with the transition from prison to community, and we help with the transition or the move from benefits into sustainable paid employment.
Well, having never experienced anything like a prison environment before, it was quite a shock to the system. And sort of roughly halfway through when you're settled and stuff, it was nice to actually sit down and talk to people who were thinking about your future for when you were to be released, instead of talking about always being confined and what's happening within the walls.
It is difficult, for anybody who has never gone through the system before, and that's why the services we offer are very important to help people, to give them guidance and assistance to explain things. A lot of the people that we work with have literacy, numeracy difficulties, have learning disabilities, have mental health issues, and they need that assistance.
Now we know from the work that we have done and from the research that we've explored that actually having people in purposeful, meaningful work is one of the most useful ways of reducing offending.
I'm only one person and thousands and thousands of them that are helped by NIACRO, and as I said, there's a very good chance I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for NIACRO.
Some children and young people
benefit from early intervention
to help them make positive changes in their life.
NIACRO works to support children,
their parents
and young people.
Working with children and young people who offend. NIACRO has several schemes in place to help prevent young people from entering the criminal justice system. One of these projects is the Independent Visitor Scheme. The purpose of this project is to provide a positive role model for young people in care.
Well, statistics unfortunately would suggest that a lot of young people in care end up in the criminal justice system. My job is to recruit and train and support volunteers to help support young people in the care system.
Carrie Ann is one of the volunteers taking part in the project.
For me, it's to give something back to the community. I've come from a privileged enough background and I've a very stable upbringing where some kids here don't. So for me it's giving that little bit extra, and that's what motivates me. It's seeing them happy and giving them the confidence that they can talk to somebody.
You don't class her as like a carer or like a social worker or something. It's just a friend, she's a really good friend.
Another volunteer-led programme run by NIACRO is the Independent Representation Scheme, where volunteers act as independent advocates representing the views and concerns of young people placed at Lakewood Secure Care Centre in Bangor.
One of the big benefits that the young people always talk about is the consistency that NIACRO service would provide. In fact, one of the young people in a recent feedback said, that I've had 9 social workers in the last year, but my independent visitor has remained the same.
In addition to helping young people in care, NIACRO also supports children who are at risk of taking part in offending or antisocial behaviour through their Child and Parent Support Scheme, known as CAPS.
The aim of the project is to provide intensive support services to children and families, and the children are 8 to 13-year-olds that we work with, and they're at risk of engaging in antisocial or offending behaviour. And I suppose what our aim would be is to intervene early so that we can prevent these young people from coming to the attention of the police or getting into the criminal justice system at a later stage. Well, we offer weekly support to both the child and the parent, and it might be looking at anger management, self-esteem, confidence. It might be looking at where the child fits within their home, within their school and the community, so it's about looking at all different areas in their lives. And the approach that we use does work, and it works very well. And we are diverting young people from coming into the criminal justice system.
It's not just about
an individual in prison. Their family is also serving a sentence.
A silent sentence.
NIACRO helps prisoners,
their families and children.
Working with prisoners, families and their children. In addition to helping prisoners, NIACRO also assists their families. Through the Family Link scheme, they provide vital information and support to help families to cope and adjust to the new circumstances they find themselves in.
Family Links is there to offer practical...
Linda is a Family Link service user. Her husband is in prison in the Netherlands, and she is the sole carer for 6 children. She uses the Family Link service for information and support.
Yeah, Lauren's very good, so she was. It was good for me to talk to somebody, like, you know, because I've never been in this situation before, so like Lauren, you could ring her up and say, like, you know, you need to just, you know, talk to somebody.
When someone goes into prison, once the prisoner's given permission and given his details, we'll contact that family within 24 hours. That means we'll pick up a phone and we'll send out an information pack. We can then actually go out and visit them if they wish us to come to their home. And then, if it's the first time someone's in prison, they may not know how they're going to get there. NIACRO has a transport service going to all 3 prisons in Northern Ireland. You know, and research indicates that where an offender will maintain contact with his family while serving the sentence, that contributes to a more successful resettlement on release.
Well, NIACRO is a voluntary organisation. It's our job to draw from that practice the policy comment that government both encourages and needs to hear about how practice could improve in the future.
In particular, the work done on the resettlement strategy and the women offender strategy are both innovative, dynamic and useful, and are making a real positive impact on the lives of some of the most vulnerable people in Northern Ireland.
More government and government departments and indeed elected representatives will come to recognise that organisations like NIACRO have a direct route through to the client group who have been affected by issues of crime and victimisation, because many of our clients are also victims of crime themselves.
Me and a lot of the girls I know that see NIACRO, if they didn't have NIACRO, they would go on to reoffend.